Good morning, everyone. We are here at the Munich Central Station, and Per Breuer, our Managing Director and Global Head of HR at Roland Berger, is just about to arrive. And we're going to spend the next few days with him. Follow us around. How was your train ride, Per?
Oh, it was all pleasant, all on time.
What's going on today and where can we join?
Pretty mixed day. We have a couple of jour fixes, so meetings with my direct leadership team, a couple of the teams I'm working with. We have a few quarterly business reviews after April, just normal update with the business leaders around the globe. And then I'm in the afternoon attending a session with a training with the project managers in a bootcamp format where I'm joining for a fireside chat dinner afterwards.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah. Okay, we already talked about that our week is going to look very exciting. We're actually going to travel to Stockholm together, which I'm very much looking forward to.
So am I.
And what's the reason we're traveling to Stockholm?
There's two reasons. I'm attending a management meeting of our Nordics team, so our Swedish management team, and we have our Challenge Club in Stockholm this spring, which is the high potentials of the firm around the world. So 70 people gathering from all Roland Berger countries, and I'm really enjoying that. Looking forward to hosting the team.
In your role as a global head of HR, and not only global head of HR, but also managing director, what are your tasks? I'm sure it's a big question because it's a lot of very different tasks, right? But maybe you can give us just some sort of overview.
As Managing Director for Talents, I'm overseeing all activities related to talent within Roland Berger, starting from employer branding to our alumni relations. So everything when it comes to the question, how do we govern as a firm, as an organization, all these topics, down to how do we develop our talents, our leaders. And of course, in my role, that's then rather the senior persons in the organization, which I'm taking care of, but everything in between on a global scale. And on top, I'm responsible for our ESG topics, so our own decarbonization path, and some strategic projects that we are currently running as a firm.
And you also started as a consultant yourself, right? I think your first internship was it
1998.
1998.
Actually here in Munich.
Oh wow! So you really you've been with Roland Berger for a long time. You started your career in consulting yourself. And when did you become a partner? I think you became a partner first, and then changed to HR, right?
It was almost at the same time, around 2008. Mm-hmm. But I worked my entire way from intern to project manager to principal to partner, and we can say I've been through all different processes and all roles myself, so I know how it feels to be in a recruiting process.
Did you plan to stay in consulting for such a long time?
No, not at all. I was thinking of giving it a try. I never thought of ending up in consulting. I bumped into a team at a career fair of Roland Berger at the London School of Economics, where I was studying, and I really was enthusiastic about the people, about the case study they did. So I applied for an internship and never left.
Yeah. So what did you study? I don't think we ever talked about that.
I graduated in international management from LSE and business administration from the University of Hamburg. So one of the classical recruiting CVs you would have expected in a consulting firm.
So you also studied in London. How important do you think internationality is in your CV?
That's pretty important, and for me London was eye-opening in terms of speed, in terms of mindset. So I think having international exposure that can have different firms, doesn't have to be a degree, but for sure helps and is needed if you want to join a strategic management consulting firm. Shall we get something to eat?
Yes, let's go. So the options are potato and potato.
Let's have some potato today.
Yeah, either fried or baked. But you are actually, and everyone in the HR team knows, you're a passionate cook,
Yes,
aren't
I am.
you?
And I'm doing my own bread on the weekends.
So you mentioned earlier that you didn't really plan a consulting career, right?
Yes.
So what did you want to be when you were a child or a student? Maybe
Well,
it
as a child, I
changed?
wanted to become a policeman.
Oh.
Later, I was thinking rather of becoming a manager in the automotive industry. Did a first internship at Mercedes. But then, I was hooked up with consulting, and there always was something more interesting to learn. There were new great projects. I had the opportunity to really work on great stuff. Projects in the reform space in 2010, which changed our country. So I found this was very impactful.
So you're leaving the office now, so we have to say
Going to the next meeting, yes?
Yeah, we have to say goodbye to you now, at least for today, because of course we're seeing you again tomorrow. What's your next point on the agenda for today?
I'm going to this training with our project managers, where I'm hosting a fireside chat, Q&A, and usually a couple of follow-up discussions in the evening with the team. We'll stay for dinner, then still have probably 1 or 2 calls, then go to bed, and we'll be back early tomorrow morning.
It's 11 a.m. now. We spent the morning separately from each other, both in the office.
Lucky you.
But you had a few meetings. So how was your morning?
It was an early start. Day started early. I had my first conference call with a colleague from a different time zone at 7.
Oh, wow.
And then directly continuing with a couple of meetings in BC. So early start, and the day is full. But I'm lucky that I get an espresso now.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Breath between meetings.
So Per, what's on the agenda today?
A similar day like yesterday. A couple of job fixes. Started off the day with an individual conversation early on in the morning, as said. Then were a couple of management meetings that will continue in the afternoon. Job fix on talent development, for example, today. And then leaving the office around latest 6:30 to get the late flight to Stockholm.
And do you have any favorite tasks in general?
I mean, I'm a people's person, so I really enjoy interacting with colleagues, giving advice, doing a bit of career counseling, sometimes difficult discussions. And what I really like is that in my role, I see people joining the organization, walking through the door, see them sometimes for a decade, and how they develop and how they grow. And that's something which really makes me proud to see someone at one point making it to principal or to partner in a promotion, being the future leadership. That's something which I really enjoy in my job.
Now we're very happy to join your meeting. We're meeting now with Friederike, who is our Global Head of Talent Development. And maybe, Friederike, you can tell us what this meeting is about now with Per.
Yes, of course. Per and myself, we're having our weekly meetings to talk about our progresses and topics we're working on, to talk about new priorities and how we want to drive our HR work further.
There's much more, right? Yeah, Per also told us about all the social fellowship opportunities and entrepreneurial fellowship opportunities. I think that's part of the whole program as well, right?
For example, also different buddy programs for the new entries, for our parents who are buddying each other, helping each other to work in this new situation. We are having women buddies, and one program where I'm really proud of, our My Way at Roland Berger program, where we are offering a very special training program over 6 months for our female senior consultants to design their way at Roland Berger up to principal.
And yes, I think the Challenge Club, which is ahead of us in Stockholm, is part of that too, right? the development offerings.
My colleagues already ordered this morning. They already arrived in Stockholm to get ready for the upcoming days. And the Challenge Club is a great program that has been there forever. Even Per was part of the Challenge Club when he was starting at Roland Berger. This is a global program where we are bringing our top 5 to 10% of colleagues together to give them a very special training of up 2 years, but also to help them build a global network among themselves, but also with the management.
When we were meeting with Friederike, she told us about the development opportunities we have for our female colleagues. Exactly, and also our female buddy program, for example. What else does Roland Berger to promote diversity, also in other diversity fields?
Ensuring retention with our colleagues is one of our biggest goals, making sure that colleagues stay as long as possible in the job and have a sustainable way of doing the stressful consultant job. Within this, retaining female talents, especially to grow them to female leaders, is one of the big initiatives we have within our DEI activities. Other areas of work include promoting our affinity groups, such as our LGBTQ+ community, Just Be. We are working on ability, so making sure that colleagues with disabilities or some other kind of challenges feel embedded and welcomed in the firm. We are working on with the affinity groups on Black at RB and so on. So affinity groups is the second larger pillar. Then we're making sure that this finds its way in all our different management routines, individualized country action plans, data-driven decision making, that there is no bias in the organization and so on. So there's a bunch of topics. There's a group of colleagues called our Diversity Council, which is reflecting and making sure that our business is onboarded in all these different dimensions and all the different views of the firm are integrated in decision making.
How would you describe the culture at Roland Berger, and how do you perceive it yourself?
Well, in the end, our three values, entrepreneurship, empathy and excellence, are not just values that we abstractly put on paper. This is really what the firm is about. On the one hand, the firm provides a lot of freedom for individuals to generate their platform for individual growth, build a career in different forms. We try to offer responsibility early on, client access directly when you start the career, opportunity to become a go-to person in your global platform, and different kinds of initiatives, accepting that a career is not linear and that you might decide at one point in time to focus on different topics. Maybe it's one point family is more important, or you want to do a startup, come back to consulting with full throttle later on. We offer opportunities for that. And within entrepreneurship is as well the idea of our obligation to make sure that we generate client impact, so that bridges towards empathy, us being able to work with all layers of an organization to make our client organization better. And overall, for me, I experienced this at every year in my organization, very much from the start. And what makes Roland Berger in that sense unique is that we are a global firm, but still small enough to know people personally and not be just a number, right? You know whom to connect to, you can have input. All our leaders still fit into a large meeting room, and within the platforms in the business unit, you know your peers, right? So and that creates a nice feeling of global yet local. Yeah. And we are not a standardized culture where it feels the same everywhere. Our office in Shanghai has a different feeling compared to Sao Paulo, and I enjoy that.
Are there any special travel essentials you usually pack when you're on the road?
Well, traveling and packing for travel has become super efficient over the years, right? So there's a few topics that you pack, and I probably need 5 minutes to pack on a Sunday if I'm traveling the next week. In terms of essentials, everything you need to sleep well, right? So anything you need to sleep in the plane if it's overnight. and a couple of things which just are handy, something you like to drink in the evening, or a special favorite tea. I always have coffee, tea, my favorite tea in my bag.
Oh, really?
Earplugs. And if I'm traveling longer, I take as well a cushion, because in many hotels that's not so nice, or at least I'm quite sensitive to that.
Do you also have any hobbies that help you recharge on the weekends, for example, or in the evening?
Well, I really enjoy cooking, baking, being with my family. I'm gardening, so I'm a person who loves to do stuff with the hands. And I even would do this in the evening when I'm getting home, to do something and do something, prepare a meal for myself or for my wife if she has not had dinner. It helps me to disconnect, because you need to be in the moment when you're cooking, and there's not too much time for the brain to divert on other ideas, and disconnect from work. Should I colleagues see you tomorrow?
Good morning. It's 7:45 and we're going to pick up Per at his hotel.
Hi, good morning.
Hi Per, good morning.
Hope you had a good night's sleep.
Well, we've been on the road a lot this week so far. How do you manage to balance professional life and family life?
Well, to be honest, that's a constant struggle. It's important to find times where you can disconnect. And I rather try to balance when I'm working, I'm all in. Make sure that I get my stuff done, that I have attention to what I'm doing, to work efficiently. And then when I'm with the family, try to disconnect and then really have quality time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially on the weekends then, right?
Especially on the weekends, but as well in the evenings, right? So decide what you do. Mm-hmm. It's rather work or family. I think if you're not clear about this, it doesn't end up being satisfying for either side.
What values do you hope to pass on to your children?
It's important for me that they have a good understanding of humanity, being humble and understanding how privileged they are in the bubble they are allowed to live in, that they are curious for everything they see, and they understand and realize the beauty of everything which is around them, and that they learn to appreciate this. And in the end, try to be human beings which contribute to society.
Are you ready for our questions?
Always.
Please
Ready when you
answer
are.
very fast. Okay, so if you could learn any skill in the world, what would it be?
Beside probably playing kicker, I would love to learn any instrument really up to a professional level.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite band and why?
That's Kraftklub, a German punk rock band, because the energy they have in concert is just so amazing, and I really love that kind of energy in music.
What is a fun fact about yourself we don't know yet?
There's a few fun facts from my early career. For example, I almost bombed fully drunk at our CEO at that time when I was an intern. Has not harmed my career though. Yes!
When did you become so good in this game? In the first round, it was only me scoring the goals.
Yeah, I'm not good in this game, but I'm a fast learner.
We're now in an external location a little bit outside of Stockholm, and Per has a meeting with the Nordics management team, which means we're going to meet him later for the Challenge Club kickoff event. Our Challenge Club is just about to begin, and Per is currently preparing for his welcome speech, and of course we can follow him again.
Welcome to this Challenge Club. A lot of faces which I did not see yesterday.
You just held your welcome speech at the Challenge Club. What's next on the agenda?
Well, there is a Challenge Club has 4 modules over 2 years. Right? So the colleagues which are here for the first year will start defining their the why, actually what do I want to achieve in my career step, where do I have the development needs, and the other colleagues who are here in the second year will follow up on some coaching techniques, on leadership development, so an individualized program. My role here is, on the one hand, I'm the host of this development program, and I will join a few sessions to share my story, my input, experience, what makes you a good leader, what are the areas in which you can develop. And on the other hand, one of the benefits is of this program that you have access to senior leadership. So being around, approachable for one-on-one conversations, for coaching conversations, that's one of the roles that I'm carrying in this program.
And what do you enjoy most about the Challenge Club?
It's a super opportunity to meet people from around the world. I mean, there's hardly any groups where you get the full breadth of the firm from Tokyo to Sao Paulo in one meeting or in 2 days. Right? So it's just the partner meetings on top. So for me, it's a great opportunity to network, to experience new colleagues, the energy which is in this group. I really enjoy that.
We just said goodbye to Per. He's going to stay at the Challenge Club event for a little bit longer. And it was very exciting to be part of his daily life over the last few days. And this is how a day in the life of a Roland Berger partner looks like.